Hi, welcome to Matt's Selling Music. Today we're going to be doing Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. The first part of Hey Joe starts off with this really cool guitar intro that he does. It goes like this. Like with any guitar part, best is to break it down into smaller licks first, and then piece it back together once you get those smaller licks. So the first lick that he does is this little slidey lick on the B string and the G string, like so. Just like that. After that lick, you're gonna play an E major chord. So, all together. After that first lick, you're gonna do these inverted power chords. They're inverted because normally with power chord, you play it root, fifth, and octave maybe. But this case they're inverted because he's actually starting with the fifth in the bass and then putting the fifth actually an octave higher on top. So he's playing a G power chord, but it's inverted so that you have the fifth in the bass. Sounds pretty cool. Sounds a little different. There. And then you're going to go down to an inverted F sharp power chord, and then down to an inverted E power chord. Just like that. So here's the inverted power chords. And then to finish it off, you're going to do this hammer-on lick on the D and G string, which goes like this. So that's the intro. Next part will be the chords to the song. This is the coolest part. I never realized this before, but the chords to Hey Joe are actually the Cage system chords. So the Cage system, if you're working on that, is C, A, G, E, D. Of course, when you play them in the order of that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But if you play it in the order of Hey Joe, it sounds a lot better. So we have C, G, D, A, and then E. What's actually happening here is he's going through the circle of fifths. So the first thing I do is just play cowboy chords for this verse section here. So we got and then you want to throw in this lick. He does it every time on the E chord. There. So something that I think a lot of people forget that lick right there, but it's a part of the arrangement of the song. So you definitely want to throw that lick in there. So next thing you could do with the chords is play them as bar chords. This is how it sounds like he's playing on the recording. So instead of playing a C cowboy chord, play a C bar chord. And if you're familiar with your Cage system, this would be the A shape for the C chord. And then you're just going to go from an A shape to an E shape, which would be C, G. Now, if you really want to get creative with this, you could also throw some Jimi Hendrix comping over the chords. So you could do something like this. That's starting to get a little bit more into the improvised realm. And you got to be a little careful when you're doing the Jimi Hendrix comping because you don't want to be walking over the singer. So I would probably, what I did there was probably too busy, but it's kind of fun to just mess around with, and especially if you want to work on getting your Hendrix licks down and everything like that. All right, so the last part of this song would be the guitar solo. This is a great first Hendrix guitar solo because short and sweet, not too long, and it's not too tricky, although every Hendrix solo is a little tricky, but it's not crazy difficult or anything like that. There's just a couple rhythmic things that are a little weird. So here's the solo. Let me get my boost pedal on. Here's the guitar solo. Okay, so the solo is fairly simple, but it's a little tricky, some tricky spots here. So again, just like with the intro, let's break it down into its basic licks. So the first lick, we start with the unison bend and then do this little run. With Hendrix, it's always kind of tricky because he'll do these kind of slow floaty riffs and then he'll throw in a really quick lick somewhere in there. So that's how this first lick goes. It starts like this. That. So we start slow and floaty and then throw in a really quick da-da-da kind of thing. Here it is slow. That's the quick lick right there. And then he's going to kind of repeat the similar idea, just varying the ending of it a little bit. And then on the E chord, he's going to throw this lick here. That. Here it is slow. Then he's going to go around the chord progression one more time. This time throwing in this 16th note run, which is, again, it's kind of one of these backwards Hendrix licks that he does. So it's really cool, but it's a little tricky to get. It goes like this. Here it is slower. Then he's going to throw in this lick here, another really cool lick, but a little tricky. And remember, for this lick, he starts on an offbeat, so you got to wait a little bit before you play it. Here's the lick slow. Now, when he lands on this G right here, he sits on that note for a full 2 beats and then plays this lick here. So 1, 2. And then from there, he does this little walk-up line to each chord. So he's just walking from one chord to the next. And again, because you're going through the circle of fifths, it actually works symmetrically. So we start on C, then Then we go to the third of C, which is E, and walk up chromatically to G. And then we're going to do the same exact lick on G. And then do it on D. And then once more to get to the C. So here's that lick in total. That's the solo. It's also really fun to just play some E minor pentatonic stuff over it. So you could also improvise some E minor licks as well. It's a great song for both improvising and kind of coming up with licks. The thing to remember whenever you're doing Henrix is a lot of it he is improvising. So even that solo, I'm pretty sure was improvised when he played it, which is probably why it sounds rhythmically so interesting. I could be wrong though. I don't really know. I wasn't there, but it's a cool solo nonetheless. All right, so those are the parts for Hey Joe. Again, it's a good like first Jimi Hendrix song to check out. I would say it's beginner to intermediate, but it's a fun one. So yeah, check it out, and hopefully this helps you get the song down. All right, thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.